So spake he, and my spirit within me was broken, and I wept as I had sat upon the sand, nor was I minded any more to live and to see the light of the sun. But when I had taken my fill of weeping and grovelling on the ground, then spake the ancient one of the sea, whose speech is sooth. No more, son of Atreus, hold this long weeping without cease, for we shall find no help therein. Rather, with all haste, make essay that so thou mayest come to thine own country. For either thou shalt find Aegisthus yet alive, or it may be Orestes was beforehand with thee, and slew him. So mayest thou chance upon his funeral feast. So spake he, and my heart and lordly soul again were comforted for all my sorrow. And I uttered my voice, and I spake to him with winged words. Their fate I now know. But tell me of the third. Who is it that is yet living and holden on the wide deep, or perchance is dead? And fain would I hear despite my sorrow. So spake I, and straightway he answered, and said, It is the son of Laertes, whose dwelling is in Ithaca. And I saw him in an island shedding big tears in the halls of the nymph Calypso, who holds him there perforce, so he may not come to his own country, for he has by him no ships with oars, and no companions to send him on his way over the broad back of the sea. But thou, Menelaus, son of Zeus, art not ordained to die and meet thy fate in Argos, the pasture land of horses, but the deathless gods will convey thee to the Elysian plain of the world's end, where is Rhadamanthus of the fair hair, where life is easiest for men. No snow is there, nor yet great storm, nor any rain. But always ocean sendeth forth the breeze of the shrill west to blow cool on men. Yea, for hast Helen to wife, and thereby they deemed to be the son of Zeus. Okay, let me unpack a little bit of what is being said today, because it is information provided in kind of a circuitous way that if you aren't really hooked in, you might get a little confused. I certainly was. So I'm glad I did the research on this. That whole thing at the very end about him being the son of Zeus. It might seem obvious when you say this out loud, but I was like, but he wasn't born by Zeus, right? So how is he suddenly the son of Zeus? I mean, dual parentage is a thing in Greek mythology. Go look up the birth of Theseus, but that very last sentence, or at least the last half of the sentence, yea, for thou hast Helen to wife, and thereby they deem thee to be the son of Zeus, saying that the gods honor and respect and acknowledge your marriage to Helen as your true lineage to Zeus. Helen is the daughter of Zeus, and therefore, by proxy, Zeus is basically Menelaus' in-law. But they're recognizing Menelaus' connection to Zeus at this point. But who's recognizing that? So, but thou, Menelaus, son of Zeus, are not ordained to die and meet thy fate in Argos, the pasture land of horses, but the deathless gods will convey thee to the Elysian plain at the world's end, ... So, we've talked before, the deathless gods are Zeus, Poseidon, etc. Proteus is saying here that after he's giving the kind of status report of Agamemnon, of Aias, of Nestor, Menelaus obviously knows his own situation, and very nondescript of Odysseus. I don't know why they don't want to name him by name, but saying that this sad thing happened to your brother, Agamemnon, and you are weeping. Proteus is saying you're not going to find any help by grieving right now. So hurry up and make haste to thine own country, because once you're there, you're either going to find Aegisthus alive, or maybe you're going to find Orestes alive. So we know what happens, right? Orestes kills Aegisthus, but at this point in the story, this flashback, Proteus is basically saying both men are still alive. If you rush back, I'm not sure which of the two you're going to see and chance upon their funeral feast. But you got to hurry and go back, and crying ain't going to do nothing about it. So when he pivots here to talk about Menelaus' ultimate fate, that Agamemnon passed. Sorry, dude, your brother's gone. And the son of Laertes, who we know is Odysseus and is identified as whose dwelling is in Ithaca, clearly Odysseus, is being held on the island of Calypso by force, so he can't go home. Remember that Menelaus, still stuck on this island, needs to get home, so he doesn't know what his fate is yet. And he doesn't know if he's going to die here. He doesn't know if he's going to die on the way home. Proteus is telling him, your fate doesn't end here. It doesn't end in Argos. You will be conveyed to the Elysian plain at some point because you are favored by Zeus for having married Helen. What is the Elysian plain? The Elysian fields, it's a term you hear every so often. Without getting theological about it or religious about it, it's essentially one of the earliest ideas the Greeks had about an afterlife, a blessed afterlife, not the underworld, which is ruled by Hades, a completely different place. This is the blessed afterlife, and he gives the descriptors there of where life is easiest for men. No snow is there, nor yet great storm, nor any rain, but the ocean always has a nice little breeze that comes in from the west to cool you. You get free Mai Tais. You can just lay there on the sandy shores and soak in the sun rays and never get skin cancer. It doesn't go that far, but there's a big difference in Elysium versus the underground because most mortals end up going to the underworld. Did I say underground a second ago? I meant underworld. I'm saying that. I'm calling it out so I don't have to edit it. Elysium's a little bit different, and it's reserved for very selective individuals as a kind of reward-based afterlife. You have lived honorably, you have done your deeds for the gods, you've been favored by the gods, and therefore you will end up in Elysium. They're also very ambiguous about where Elysium is located. So much to imply that it's not a place you could actually go and visit. They do say at the world's end, but it is not somewhere you could just stumble upon. They also keep it very vague about conveying and passage into Elysium. So it's intentionally kept obscure so that you can imagine it's setting apart from the rest of the world. Okay. Anything else in today's passage? I don't think so. We got only just a tiny taste of Odysseus. I'm surprised we didn't get more. Maybe we'll get more tomorrow. Because let's not forget, amidst all of this, Menelaus is conveying this information to Telemachus, and Telemachus is going to have to do something with this information. So I don't know that he learned much more than he did going into this, except that at the time of Proteus telling Menelaus what was up, Calypso was holding Odysseus, and he had no ships or ways to get back home. He's all alone, being held by a nymph, and that's all the information we get. So join me here tomorrow as maybe we do get a little bit more, or we don't. Until then, okay, goodbye. Odyssey is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. The show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Odyssey, written by Homer. Theme song by Neuroflow. You can support this show and other shows like it by going to patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.